Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Dungeon of the Mad Mage. This is session 160. We've taken a little while to get started. We're actually on time, in fairness, but we've taken a little while to get started. So I'm ready to do some shit we missed last week. Let's fucking jump into a little bit of a recap, shall we? Previously, in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, the Skull Takers were under attack by the Drow of House Ovrendar. Within the nave of the heart of the mountain, Pibble, Greer, Peppa, Oz, Bigbeak, and Balrin fought for their lives against the forces of Elinriu Beltaza, one of the 5 captains of House Ovrendar. The battle had opened favorably for the Skull Takers, with the Drow having to funnel through a choke point, and with the heart of the mountain itself attempting to defend its steward, Pibble. However, slowly but surely, it became apparent that the Drow forces outmatched the goblins, at least until the ground began to quake, and up from beneath the invaders came the gaping maw of the darkest rain shadow. The ancient Zorn had answered the call, a creature of the earth rising to aid the defenders of the mountain's heart. But the Zorn's arrival didn't spell victory for the Skull Takers, at least not without a cost. More Drow funneled in through the portal from the heart, and though many of them did waste their time ineffectually attacking the darkest rain shadow, Elinriu and his mage were still a dire threat. The house captain held his ground against Balrin, Greer, and Bigbeak, while Pibble helped Oz and Peppa in the back lines. But after dispelling the hand of the heart of the mountain, Elinriu's mage turned their gaze towards the goblins. Twice, surges of horrendous lightning flashed out. The second time, Oz and Bigbeak fell. Balrin and Pibble were already also grievously wounded. For a moment, it did seem as if, with the darkest rain shadow's aid, it would be a Pyrrhic victory for the Skull Takers. But then, through the portal, came Ashes, Ezrah, Matashtai, and Bones. The leader of the Skull Takers had arrived just in time. And he did so with a vengeance. In an instant, Ashes and Matashtai cut their way through the first rank of Drow. Bones hurtled forward, engaging the house captain, who now, under assault from all angles, began to lose ground. Ezrah and Mossy engaged the remaining Drow as Ashes and Matashtai surged forward, the former aiding the ancient Zorn, the darkest rain shadow, and the latter healing the faltering and fallen forces of the Skull Takers, quite likely saving their lives. Elinriu's reaction was stoic in the face of death. He attempted to complete his mission, to kill Skull Takers, but Bones cut him down. In the following moments, it was a simple task for the party and their allies to defeat the remaining Drow. Bones left one alive, for a very specific purpose. The Tabaxi rogue decapitated the house captain and his mage, tied the heads to the living Drow's belt, reactivated the portal, and shoved the Drow through. It would serve as a message of what happened if you attacked the Skull Takers, and a message of what might come. In the aftermath of the battle, reinforcements from the northern and southeastern barricades arrived, with Willow of the Wood and the Horned Sisters accompanying them. The Skull Takers were victorious. They had defended their home, with some assistance. As the various members of the tribe celebrated, the leaders and the party gathered. Willow reported that she had found 3 goblin bodies, which had set her on the trail of the Drow. The party feared for Catsup and her cavalry, but Willow confirmed that they had been on a mission for her chasing poachers, and she could still sense them within the wood. Willow was furious over the attack on the Skull Takers. It was a rare moment, with the druid showing something akin to concern and care for the lively tribe of goblins that had become her personal headache. But the Archdruid of the Wood was out of her element, and it showed. She quickly dismissed herself, needing to return to her domain. This left the party Pibble and Groin, the Horned Sisters, the Darkest Rain Shadow, and Balrin, standing around the dais in the nave of the heart of the mountain. The party had been hostile to House Avrindar for quite some time, since the Drow House seemed capable only of betrayal. But this was the first time that those close to the party had been targeted. What would be the response? And that is where we fade back into the scene. I'm going to drop you all back on the 6th level.
Definitely turn the other cheek. That is our MO.
That is typically what we like to do, yeah.
Three words, Jeremy.
Exactly.
3 words. All their beds. All their beds.
Very nice.
Oh, that's our team name. ATV.
All their beds! ATV! Active time battle. All their beds. Very nice. I love it.
ATV.
Okay, so you are all in. You're all arranged around the dais. Feel free to move yourselves if you so choose or not. This is not a super finicky, like, where are people style situation. But you, the two leaders of the Skull Takers, Pibble and Groin, are around the dais. The Twinned Sisters, or the Horned Sisters, are there. Violence and Turbulence. And the Darkest Rain Shadow is there, as well as Balrin, who is standing, though he looks a little green around the gills, right? As does Pibble.
Can't you just cure their poison, Matashtai?
Punch them. Yeah,
it wears off after a short amount of time. You all are aware of that. So
is it a minute or is it an hour?
Huh? Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not like an insubstantial amount of time, but it's not going to kill them. You're free to heal them if you so choose, or
let me see
know.
How many key points I got?
Right.
I got 5. Yeah, I'm gonna go and slap and be like, cured.
Ella.
Cured.
And fantastic.
Cured.
Okay. While that is happening, the Darkest Rain Shadow, the massive ancient Zorn, kind of glides slightly through the ground towards you, Bones. And it looks at you, looks at Pibble, who's standing near you. And in that horrendously gravelly Terran language, it hails you, right? It calls you by some word that I do not know, that basically stands for the one who made the accord, right? Like the pact signer, the bargainer, right? You are the one who established the code, or the or reestablished it, right? Because this is an ancient binding agreement between the Zorn and the inhabitants, or the rulers of the heart of the mountain, right? So he refers to you by this title, which takes probably a solid 25 seconds, right? To express the nuances in the Terran language. And then he looks at you and he says, I am concerned that you are not keeping your end of the bargain. There is no mining. There is no hunt for gems or precious stones or metals. I fear this is not the return of the old ways I had hoped.
Damn.
That's a valid concern. I'll make it right. Thank you for honoring the accord.
He narrows his eyes at you and he says, "What do you plan to do?"
Do Zorn have eyes?
He's got
They
3.
have 3 eyes.
Yeah.
Oh.
On their elbows.
I always envision them as just
Or
like a rock
shoulders.
with a mouth.
No, they got
So what? Graboid?
I guess. I don't know what that is, but sure.
Trimmer
You've
worm?
never seen Tremors?
so they
Oh, I didn't know that's what they were called.
yeah, they're called
Tremors.
graboids. So yeah, each facing side, so each Zorn has 3 sides, right? Each one has this big amber eye in it. Yeah. Oh god. I
Interesting.
hate that. Please stop.
Okay. I look at him and I say, it's clear we require more people. I will recruit allies strictly for the task of unearthing materials and strengthening our bond with the earthen folk.
Okay. Your Yeah, I think in this moment, Bones has selected the right words. So you can have advantage on your persuasion check.
Wait.
First
It's,
roll of the night. Don't fuck it up.
Persuasion. Let's see. Ooh, is that an 18?
18. Nice. There is an amicable relationship already established between you and the Darkest Rain Shadow. It did not seem in context as if this statement from the Darkest Rain Shadow was one of finality, of like immediately or else, right?
Yeah.
This wasn't an ultimatum, but this was like a
Reminder.
well, it was like a statement of assumption, right? Like, I don't think you're doing anything, and if you're not going to do anything, this is going to fall apart eventually, right? Type situation. But your direct and immediate response to the situation, it's like you took the good manager approach, right? You were like, thank you for bringing this deficiency to my attention. I'm going to immediately figure out how we can address this, right? And so, like, Darkest Rain Shadow is like an employee response is like, okay, good. That sounds good.
That's precisely what I wanted. Thank you.
Like he's somewhat surprised and perhaps maybe not shocked, right? But like he does react positively, and he does react as if he is a little surprised at the immediacy and the I guess maybe like the veritas, the gravitas with which you seem to be handling the situation. Like immediately taking this super seriously and saying what seems like a plausible strategy. So the Darkest Rain Shadow just kind of like assents to this. And then sniffs in the air, right? As you have seen Mossy do on numerous occasions, and this is the ancient Zorn doing that thing that Zorns do, which is they can just smell treasure, right? And I actually think that the majority of the party's treasure is all hidden away in bags of holding and handy haversacks and the like, right?
Yeah.
Not all of us.
Not all of you.
Most stuff is.
There's a roll. Everyone has insight trained. I love it.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm not going to rely on insight this time. I'm going to rely on a different thing. Does anyone have animal handling trained?
No.
No one trains that.
No one.
No one trains that.
All right.
Ever.
Hold on. I might. Let me double check.
I,
I do not.
like I said, no one.
Yeah.
Ever.
So, this is the one time in this 6 months that animal handling might have been useful to you, but it does not seem to be as if anyone is really like a big animal person. So there you go. Darkest Rain Shadow looks at you, nods his assent, sniffs around, and then basically lowers itself into the ground. It's still present, right? Should you need to call upon it, but it feels as if its responsibilities in this particular situation have been fulfilled, right? So it's around if you want to call it, or if you want to ask it something, or you want to involve it in some way, but it otherwise is going to just be on the edges of periphery of this conversation.
Fair enough.
Big boy.
It's at that point that the only outsiders that remain, not really outsiders, but people that aren't normally in this location, right? The only ones that remain are the Horned Sisters, Violence and Turbulence. And they're just kind of like off on the side, watching everything that transpires, right? Like, they showed up with the Skull Takers from the southeastern barricade. They witnessed Willow, right, kind of go through her little rant, her tirade, where she was just pissed about the attack on the Skull Takers. And then Willow leaving, they all kind of like witnessed this conversation with the Darkest Rain Shadow, though whether or not they actually understood anything going on is a different matter. Who knows? Because that was all in Terran, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now that the Darkest Rain Shadow kind of like moves out of the way, the Horned Sisters, they don't really like step forward so much as they kind of like stand a little straighter to make it obvious that they are idling nearby.
Sure. I'll greet him. Hey, Turbulence, V. Thanks for coming. I hear you saved my boys.
Don't call me V.
Oh,
Damn.
V.
Shut down.
Don't call me V.
Okay, Violence, thanks for coming.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having
call her
us.
Viola.
Do you have anything like to drink in this place?
We gotta have Gabo beer, right?
It's probably mushroom based, but I don't know, maybe.
There is a fermented mushroom based alcohol
That's
question mark that the
disgusting.
goblins occasionally drink. Yes.
That's only because you don't like mushrooms.
They've also got like
I
some
think it
root
sounds
vegetables that they've just recently started growing. So it's possible that they will make other things in the near future, but you guys delivered that to them like 2 days ago, so they definitely haven't started making like other liquors with that yet.
Wow. Sorry. I went over to Google real quick and I said, "Can you make alcohol from?" And it automatically filled in mushrooms.
Fucking listening to your shit.
Yeah, I look around. Hey, can somebody not you.
You see the Skull Takers. All of them are here, by the way, except for Ketsup's cavalry. The barricades have been abandoned in this moment.
Well, that's probably the best policy, but I'm gonna let it go.
There's immediately the store of food and alcohol has already been broken out, and they're already passing around big bowls that have this concoction. This mushroom concoction in it. They all just kind of like, they'll pass a bowl around, they'll drink from it, pass a bowl to the next person, drink from it, etc., etc.
Yeah, pull up a bowl.
Violence looks over, and you see her face kind of like screw up for a second, right? Like her nose curls. And then she kind of like shrugs, walks over, takes a bowl from Oz, who's like trying to like has just taken a bowl from Peppa, is trying to take a drink. She like yoinks it out of Oz's hands, chugs from it, and hands it back. And Oz is like, "What the fuck?" Right? Like,
That was mine.
and Violence like you all can see on her face this mixture of emotions of mostly disgust, right? And it looks as if she's gonna she looks over at Turbulence and she says, "Not as worse as your grandfather's brew, but pretty bad." And she walks back over and she's just like, I think I'll...
Sisters? Your grandfathers?
Are they not? Ask him about it. Wait. Your grandfather? Do you got,
Yes, I thought
you
they were
got different
sisters.
grandfathers?
Dialogue option appears.
Turbulence, like, waves her hand and she says, "Is not my grandfather. Is an old man that Violence calls my grandfather. I apprenticed with him when we were young."
Okay, that makes sense. Gotcha.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, you guys got here fast.
You guys did get here fast.
We left you like several hours ago. We
Well,
took a nap.
And
it's kind of hard to keep track of time.
actually,
down
I think
here.
I think
Yeah,
we're the
good
ones that
times
got
has
here
to be
fast.
Huh.
All right.
You guys
All
may
right,
have
fair.
gotten here fast, actually. Time
You guys took a nap?
time
Wow.
through the
Time is wibbly wobbly.
time through the veins when you're going through the portals is wibbly wobbly. It tends to be faster. I mean, obviously, it's faster than like going from floor 2 to floor 7 on its own, right? Like that kind of concept. But it's not, oh, we step into the portal, we're immediately out on the other side of the portal. It's
I'm a Jeremy Baramy.
we step into the portal and maybe it's 5 minutes to the other side, maybe it's 20 minutes to the other side.
Hold on,
Question
that
mark?
face Mitch just made. Are you not aware of Jeremy Baramy?
Jeremy Barry.
I feel like you've told me about Jeremy Baramy before,
Hmm.
but I don't recall.
Wow.
I've
feel
had so many
confident that I've
nicknames
heard
over
it.
the years that I can't remember all of them.
It's not a nickname for you.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Can
I'll
we
listen
talk
to the
about
channel.
I'm pretty sure
the
I've had
portals-
that nickname before. Sorry, go ahead.
can we talk about how the portals are referred to as the veins?
They're the veins of the Undermountain. I feel like we've heard that before, haven't we?
You have heard that before.
Wait, what's the veins?
The portals.
Oh. I don't recall that. Anyway,
Most
So,
of what
thanks
you
for
have
coming.
heard of that has been in more recent conversation. You have heard prophecies that I believe include some of that, but also Ezrah, your research actually over the last little while has led you into some of that brief amount. Now the portals haven't been your main focus, right? But you've had little tidbits crop up because denizens that operate in Undermountain, especially powerful ones, tend to just use these fucking things without heed to the dangers. Or they heed the dangers, but they're just like, look, I'm not gonna spend 3 days pub crawling through the fucking levels. I'm just gonna jump from point A to point B, you know? Whereas teleportation and the like is not something that can be done.
What?
Ezra knows this, right, through studies, because of the mythals and the enchantments in Undermountain.
What's a mythal? I don't know that word.
Mythal's like a big enchantment. Mythal's like high magic.
It's god tier high magic, yeah.
That's what Tyson thinks jet fighters shoot.
Wow.
Fuck off.
Wow.
Fuck off.
You, sir,
Okay.
are an asshole.
Fuck off,
You mean an
Jerry.
Yeah, you should feel bad for that one.
That's Was it good? Yes. Low blow? Yes. Absolutely.
Well, if Tyson ever confronts me about it, I'll give
if
him
he
a
ever
free-
finds out and takes issue, I'm sure we'll
You'll
hash
give
it
him
out
a
at
free
that
punch? Is
Yeah,
that what you're
I'll-
saying?
I want off this mortal coil anyways.
point. Right. All right. So, um, violence and turbulence are here. Neither of them seems especially just like needful of something at this particular moment. They're just kind of like idling nearby, listening. If you want to engage them further, you are more than welcome to. Otherwise, it seems as if this is a pit stop for them. So,
Yeah, fair.
As
I
expected.
don't really expect them to live in the Undermountain forever.
They made it clear they wanted out, so out
Yeah.
they shall go.
well, I will say they made it clear they wanted out of the academy. So, anything past
Mission
that point, y'all are free to do whatever the fuck you want. So,
That's fair.
I'll liaise with them later.
then that
We should definitely
leaves.
call them by the first letter of their
Hmm.
first names.
Yes.
It's called
Hey,
colloquialism. Look it up.
Hey,
TV.
BT. Hey, TV. Ooh, hey, TV.
Hey, TV.
I
That
don't have that
leaves.
relationship with Turbulence. That's why I called her Turbulence and called the other one V.
That leaves Pibble, Groin, and Balrin around the dais with the rest of you.
boys,
and
anybody dead?
the. Go ahead. Sorry.
I say, hey boys, anybody dead?
Yes.
Pibble looks at you and says, "Almost me, boss, but looks like everyone made it."
Damn, great job.
And like shakes his head and snorts. Groin looks at him and says, "We did an awesome job. We were great. We were fantastic. I mean, the Dozens showed up, but I don't think we even need them. We were fine." If the players will recall the death
The fucking
assault
massacre?
ball toss as
Yeah.
Hulk hurled Groin into the midst of potentially several oncoming drow that were only not there because they were being slaughtered by the Horned Sisters. But Groin's just like, we had it. We were good.
Yeah, Groin's a little death machine.
Pibble, on the other hand, is a little more sober in the instance. Actually, as
You
having-
survived a house captain, all right? That's a
yes,
feat
yeah,
by itself.
but also because Oz and Big Beak very nearly didn't. Which reminds me, I actually need Bones. I actually need you to roll for me.
No, not the super injury table again.
They both went down. They both received minor injuries. I need you to roll me a d12 for both Oz and Big Beak. First one's Oz, second one is Big Beak. 11! Oz is fine. An 11 is nothing.
I want to
So,
roll on the injury table when I go down.
do you want to roll on the injury table when you go down?
Kinda. That sounds cool.
All right.
That sounds like first ed.
Right.
Lost
This
an arm.
happens for the Skull Takers and for NPCs because NPCs and Skull Takers don't have the same kind of resilience as you guys. They're also not chugging magic potions like you guys or getting hit. Like,
True.
Matashtai hits each one of you throughout the course of like 24 hours. He probably hits you with 7 different instances of magical healing, right? Like, you guys are juicing at all times on like this magic divine healing just coursing through your veins.
It's borderline
Regular folk
abusive.
and like NPCs and the Skull Takers, they don't have that type of stuff. So when they go down, things that you can pick them right back up, sure, but they'll have like a broken bone or a bruise or something like that that sticks around with them for a little while longer. Speaking of which,
A little while longer being like weeks, if not longer.
yes, depending. Oz is perfectly fine. Big Beak, in the last few rounds of the battle, seems to have broken an arm.
Oh, Big B, he'll never
So
fly again.
Oz's
His arm.
now Matashtai's magical healing again is going to have expedited that process, right? But unless there is like significant effort made to regenerate Big Beak from his wounds, Big Beak's gonna have a broken arm for a little while. So Oz is probably gonna be putting him in a cast, basically.
What kind of things do we need to do to alleviate?
Specifically
if I-
something along the lines of the regenerate spell, which is 7th
Okay.
level magic or
Don't have
higher.
that.
Yeah, those types of things can. Well, I say this isn't like a missing limb, so probably I would say anything that's 5th level or higher would probably work. But just like a cure wounds isn't gonna seal the deal, basically.
Well, then I'm gonna move about at least setting it correctly.
Oh yeah,
and
sure.
Making sure that it is not just like dangling around.
Roll me. This isn't. I don't think it's happening exactly in this moment. This is probably happening after this conversation. But go ahead and roll me a medicine check at advantage because Oz is working on it as well and going to be helping. Salt's also here. Salt is the Skull Taker's medic, is going around setting wounds and dishing out poultices and salves and using what remaining healing she actually has while going about this.
Gotcha.
But roll me up. 27.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Okay, so that's gonna expedite. That means the injury has been taken. Basically, the best care that can be done, short of obvious magical healing. So that's gonna be the shortest time frame for recovery, which is good.
Good.
Okay. Also, roll me a general charisma check, Matashtai.
Charisma. Get charizzed.
Chariz.
15 Triz.
All
Awesome.
over him.
Greer is kind of a little bit of a fanboy of yours. Greer is hanging around. And you notice always seems to be hanging around you every time you're in the heart of the mountain. So Greer is kind of like hanging around while you're going through this process with Big Beak. And you are influencing Greer passively to try to become proficient in medicine.
Nice. Okay. Well, good for him. Do I got anything I can give him so he can practice?
You have a healer's kit or anything like that?
No. I
I've
don't
got
think
one of
I do.
those. In fact, I have. Hold on, I've actually been sitting on this a while. I have 6 charges on my healer's kit.
Wonderful. I'm gonna
Okay.
again. I think a lot of this stuff is happening. So there is a conversation that is happening at the dais right now between the party, Pibble and Groin, and Balrin. Like I think that's a thing that's actively going on right now. A lot of these things are things that are happening in the aftermath of that conversation, probably as the party helps out with the Skull Takers and celebrates with them their success, their victory, but also their lives. So while that is happening, Ashes, what were you gonna? You're gonna hand out what?
I've got a what is it? A healer's kit.
Okay, so you're
6
gonna
charges,
give
and
Greer
I will-
that healer's kit.
Yep.
Cool. Ashes and Ezra during this time period. Ashes because you're rummaging around through your stuff. Ezra, just because I think you're probably fastidious and check your shit on the occasion. You both realize you're missing. Each of you is missing 30 gold pieces.
What? Why?
Damn, we got robbed?
Wait, who's missing 30 each?
You are missing 30
Okay,
gold,
me?
and
Okay.
Ezra is missing 30 gold.
Technically, I only had 5 gold pieces on my person.
Did you have money in your handy haversack?
I had a lot of money in my head.
You're missing 30 gold total.
Ah,
Which you, Ezra, right, is going to be like,
mhm.
something pilfered from my haversack? Question mark?
That's
Right.
thus.
I mean, if you think about it, it's not that crazy, right? Like, all you have to do is think about what you want from the bag. And you reach
But you
your
also
hand
have
in
to
there.
reach into the bag.
But I mean, that's what every pickpocket does.
Don't they usually just cut off coin purses and walk away?
That's one way. But
It's a
like,
cat purse, bro. That's not a
What-
pickpocket.
what?
That is so pedantic. That is so goddamn pedantic.
Oh, no.
Christ.
Oh, God. That is...
The
Oh.
difference between a cut purse and a pickpocket is.
Look, it is what it is, right?
That's one of those fucking, like, technically correct. The best kind of correct. Oh,
God.
fucking hell. Okay.
Get me out of this hellhole.
all right. So, that's all stuff that's going to be happening in the immediate aftermath. Back to the dais. It's been 10 minutes or less since you all killed people, right? The blood and bodies are still on the dais, although you do see there are skull takers that are starting to come up and start to move bodies out of this area and start to clean things up. But Pibble and Groin and Balrin are here with all of you. Bones, you kind of started talking to Pibble and Groin about what happened. And Balrin is not a leader of this tribe, but Balrin is standing there very matter-of-factly like he's going to be a part of this fucking conversation.
Yeah, I mean, so after I assess, how alive they are, I'll turn to Balrin and I'll say, Balrin, how serious is this?
Oh. What do you mean, how serious is this?
Well, they just invaded my home, but
How seriously do you take that?
well, I want to go burn their castle down, but I need to know how committed they are to this.
Sounds pretty committed. House Ovrindar has plenty of enemies. They're expansionistic. Vlonwev is a canny and cunning leader. She's also willing to just murder anyone who gets in her way.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you got in her way enough that she sent the squad after you.
The squad, huh?
This is a problem. I mean, this is one of the 5 house captains of Ovrindar.
Well, 4 now.
Technically
Yeah.
3, because you guys already killed one.
We killed one already?
You killed
Yeah.
one in Madgoth's castle.
Yep.
That was a house captain?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I didn't know that. Shit.
And Balrin doesn't know about it either. Right? Balrin looks at you and says, We're lucky it wasn't Zres. If it had been, I don't know that you showing up would have mattered.
Who's Dress?
Zres is Vlonwev's adopted daughter. She leads the house captain. She leads House Ovrindar, truthfully.
How-
You got yourself, looks at you and he kind of, you don't have yourself, you have everyone here tangled up in a really big mess. House Sovereigndar is, they're a problem. if left unchecked, I assume that they will defeat House Freth and that they will become uncontested in the majority of the dungeon. Blonweb has every intention of conquering, supplanting, subverting, destroying any and all opposition to her. Everyone that she works with in this particular moment is just a stepping stone, and as soon as she can destroy them and take what is theirs, she will. And she has the means to do so. House Ovrindar itself is powerful, and it has many, many allies. She's a shrewd diplomat. I would assume that she is, even as we speak, making more.
And I'll like, you know, come over just to be part of the conversation. And
You're there.
yeah, and Bones, I don't know if we can ever leave the Skull Takers and they be safe.
Pibble and Groin immediately interject, right? Like, what are you talking about? We did great! We defended the shit out of ourselves! Groin's like,
did.
Yeah, we did a great job!
You did do great.
You did.
And
You
Balrin-
absolutely did.
Balrin kind of like, he gets what you're leading at, and he actually says, I think I understand what you're saying. I think you have time. Right?
I don't think we'll be back immediately.
If Blonweb just sent one of her house captains here with the intention of murdering the Skull Takers, and that house captain doesn't report back, she's gonna sit on that for a while, because one, losing a house captain is going to be a big blow to her reputation. So she's not gonna want to let that get out.
So what happens if she lost 2?
What do you
I
mean?
like where this line of thinking is going.
I mean, this isn't the first we've come across.
It's not.
Nope.
Guess not.
I don't even remember that first one's name.
I don't even remember killing it.
He almost
I
killed
remember
you.
fighting him.
I remember
And,
fighting it. I don't remember anything else about it.
I remember the castle, fighting him in the castle, but
Yeah,
Mhm.
jumping in and out windows and shit.
Jumping in and out of the fucking windows around the wall of force? Yeah.
Yep.
Fucking shenaniganry?
This isn't our first encounter with the higher status within that house.
That matters. That's important news. Don't get me wrong, right? Losing 2 house captains doesn't mean that House Ovrindar is defenseless. The house captains are just one of many powerful forces within House Ovrindar. They lead the general troops of the house. There are plenty of other sects and specialties that are powerful threats.
Mages, assassins, all that fun
Absolutely.
stuff.
But losing 2 house captains to a singular foe is news that could definitely harm the reputation of the house. In the right
Honestly,
hands, in the hands of a person who could potentially, no offense or anything, but I don't think you all, as the heads of the Skull Takers, are probably going to make waves reaching out to other drow houses telling them that, oh, we killed 2 house captains. They won't believe you or they won't care because you're not drow.
Hmm.
But the
I know a guy.
right voice could definitely make use of that information.
That just means we need to start taking skulls with us. If we need proof.
We just sent 2 skulls back.
Fair.
Balrin looks like
Right.
he's leading up to something, right? Like he's been sitting on something for a while, and it's not, again, because every single one of you has insight trained. I don't think it's hard to suss out, right? Balrin told you his allegiance pretty early on in your relationship. And he has kind of sat on things since then. He's expressed his desire to return to his house, to House Freth, but he hasn't really pressed you on things. He hasn't really suggested things. He hasn't really insinuated anything beyond that point. And it is at this moment, right, that you see there's kind of like a decision being weighed in him, and he looks at you all and he says, House Avrindar is a threat because it has a lot of powerful components and a lot of powerful allies. If you're going to take them on, you'll die if you just try to charge into their territory. You could do guerrilla tactics, sure, but I'm not sure how much that's gonna avail you. It might just piss Flonweb off. If you're gonna take on House Avrindar, I think you need allies. I think I know a good place to start.
Okay, where are we starting?
Legion?
Well, we can call it the Legion, but
Yeah, I mean, right, like, that's not where Balrin's getting at, but you say it and Balrin's like, yeah, you know what, that's probably not a bad idea. He obviously was going, I think you should contact House Freth.
Okay.
Try to
how do
set
we
up
get-
a
how do we
meeting with
contact-
them. Say what?
Aren't they like much lower? Like several more floors lower?
He looks at you and he says, there's a floor that separates the two houses.
Okay.
Would with the
Which is-
ambitions of House Avrindar, would they eventually challenge the Legion? Just completely a side question.
They
but-
already challenged the Legion. That's the first time you met them, was them challenging the Legion.
Yeah.
right, but I didn't know if that was like a one-off or just like
No, absolutely not, right? Like, you guys knocked them on their ass and sent that first expeditionary force to hell, basically, right? But, like, if it weren't for your involvement, you found multiple pockets of House Avrindar coming all the way down here that were trying to either establish footholds or had established footholds and were trying to undermine or defeat the factions there. On the third floor, it was Terissa trying to actively undermine and defeat the Legion. The fourth floor, they were trying to actively undermine the Kuatoa and Ilun, the Aboleth, right? And then there have been others since then as well.
All right, well,
Okay.
I'm just going to throw this out there. But you remember what Azrock told us when we left about threats to the Legion. Like, he
Well-
needs to know.
He's already aware of them, but
He's not aware of what happened here.
He's not aware of what happened here.
well, not yet. I mean, give me like 5 minutes. We'll discuss it with him.
I know. I'm just
Sure.
mentioning it.
minutes?
No, you're right, Ashes. I had planned to speak with him shortly after we were done here. Clearly, you're right. We need help.
Balrin looks at you and he says, I know you have a lot going on. There's obvious concerns. You seem concerned about the distance to House Freth.
Mhm.
My suggestion was just starting with contact. Salt has been, I mean, everyone here has been improving themselves. Salt recently mentioned something about trying to get to where she could just reach out to you all, just like message you from anywhere.
Third level magic shit.
And I think she has that capability. If she has that capability with you, it's possible you could reach out to I mean,
Peppa chimes in. Yeah, she did that.
Damn, Salt, you did that?
peanut gallery, hell yeah. Salt's like, I can do anything. Super
What the
fucking
fuck?
drunk
What was
right
the
now.
name of that one chick? Does anyone remember the House Freth chick?
The house
one?
breath chick.
It wasn't like Guy. It was something
You're talking about
that we
that
saved
was
from,
with us in Slither Swamp, right?
Yeah,
The one
we
that you saved in
from
Slither Swamp.
Hold
the
on.
people.
Hold on. I might have that in my Slither Swamp.
I definitely did not write that down.
Wasn't she?
It was. I have it. It is. Dirzana? Is that
That's
it?
no.
Dirzana
that-
Freth.
Oh, that sounds right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, like Dirzana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you've mentioned Dirzana to Balrin in the last time you were up here. Mentioned saving Dirzana. There was a little exchange there about who Dirzana was, right? As an actual Balrin is of House Freth. Dirzana is
House
a
Freth.
bloodline member of House Freth, right? Like
Mhm.
actually of the house. Balrin is just
Yeah.
basically like a
He's just a warrior for the house.
for the house, yes.
Yeah.
Owes allegiance to the house, right? But is not
Yeah.
of their blood.
A retainer, if you will.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
So Balrin is like, that's a possibility as well. I was gonna suggest reaching out. I don't know if it'll work, but to the Great Mother or her brother, perhaps.
Okay.
Erelal and Driven.
Erlal and Driven. Okay.
I'm gonna have to make a new
It's possible. I mean, you've talked about, I'm making assumptions and paraphrasing here. I say that, but I don't think I'm making a lot of assumptions. I think at the very beginning of the Skull Takers being here, you basically told them to watch out for the portals and not fuck around with the portals.
Yep.
So, but they've done that, right? Like they've watched out for the portals and not fucked around with the portals. But they all also know there's a lot of these fuckers here, right? Balrin says, if you reach out to the right person, if you reach out to the Great Mother, it's possible she is gifted with much wisdom and sight. She knows things that most do not. Perhaps there is an easy way for you to get there without having to go through House Ovrindar.
Okay. Who was the other one? Erlal and who? Drist? Not Drist.
Driven.
Driven. It's Drivvin. Driven.
Nope. Driven just like a car. And who is that?
That's her brother.
Her brother.
That's her brother.
Great Mother's brother.
If it's like normal drow culture, if she's the leader, then he's likely either the head of the guard or like
Yeah.
the commander. of the
Balrin will tell
forces.
you he is her Archmage.
Oh, okay.
Archmage. Okay. And then who? It was Dirzana.
Dirzana Freth. Yeah. That is one of the Great Mother's children.
that seems pretty high on the ladder there.
That is a babby. I mean, Balrin knows. Balrin's able to recite the lineage of the majority of the house members. Dirzana can tell you that, or Balrin can tell you that Dirzana is the 6th daughter of Erelal.
Okay. Is there anything we can say to these individuals to help them trust us faster? I mean, Dirzana, she knows us. We saved her life, but Erlal and Driven, I don't know,
So
I imagine they're a bunch
Dirzana
of
might
weirdos
be
reaching out.
a more secure option to try, right? But he looks at you and he says, I am a known spy for the house. Perhaps my name along with
Oh, we know Elon. Like Elon's is.
No,
is
he
there
doesn't
one-
wanna be involved.
He wants to be
He
left out
doesn't
of
want
it.
to be included.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
perhaps my name along with a prayer to Halaster could either Erelal or Driven are going to be suspicious. But they're also very powerful. They're not going to be afraid of a mystery message. It's just they might be ready to obliterate you.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
You need to get in line.
So somebody correct me if I'm wrong. The level we were just on, that's home. Is that's home to them? To the Alvendar?
Maria's Gauntlet is also known as Obsidia, which is the which is the home of House Alvendar.
Blonwelv is known as the Queen in Obsidian.
Okay, got it. All right then.
So in theory, if Balrin's information is correct, there's a floor below, and then a floor below that, and that floor is where House Breath is.
Maze level. Also known as the Maze of Madness or the Lair of Umber Hulks.
Well, that's concerning. All of those words are concerning.
I can keep saying more words that are false that would help build that concern if you would
Fair
like.
enough.
Okay.
I think
Will-
Balrin will say, right, like, obviously, I'm biased. My house has been at war with House Avrendar for quite some time now, and I think they make obvious allies to you. I don't think they're the only answer you should seek. Your instincts with the Legion are probably valid, especially if your concern is with the Skull Takers and the immediacy. But I do think that it will take Blonwelv time to mount another serious threat against the Skull Takers.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Are
mean,
there any?
All she's going to know is that her house captain didn't come back. So she's not going to
Well,
send
she'll-
anything
yeah.
less than a house captain. And I don't
She
think she
might-
would be willing to send anything more than a house captain without a lot more information.
I mean, she might know a little something a little sooner. I did cut his head off and kick him through the portal, so
Well, you could make him speak, that's true. Well,
hey, the
Yeah,
house
we won't
captain
know
said-
where you are necessarily.
That's right. The house captain said we weren't supposed to be here. I don't know how they knew that, but they said that to me. So I don't know if we got a mole or what's going on.
Or, scrying magic.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
There's an entire school of
I
magic.
thought you couldn't scry in the Undermountain.
You can't
That's
teleport.
divination magic. You can't teleport.
Divination magic, you've been told, can be a little wonky, right? But it
That's what it
still
was.
technically works.
Okay, so we'll reach out to Freth.
And Balrin will kind of like nod at you, and he'll say, Vlonwelv has an advisor, an assistant, really, Chalazana, who I believe is well versed in divination magics. I don't know the specifics, but it's possible that she's keeping tabs on you or something like that.
Fair.
And we have no way to know.
No,
I
we
mean,
really
detect
don't.
magic only does so much, and that can
Yeah.
only be kept up for...
And detect magic. pick
Okay,
up On,
well.
on being scryed upon.
There is a sensor
Yeah.
that appears. At least
Well-
in the base casting.
I don't want to speak for everyone, specifically my friends, but it sounds like we need to go to war.
Yeah, I don't know how quietly Bones says that fucking word, but there's a constant amount of chatter and laughter and yelling and carousing going on in the background as you all are having this conversation. Bones says that word, all noise stops in the nave of the heart of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And Bones, if you like just slightly turn your head, you see every fucking goblin eye in this place is now glued directly to you.
Do they look like
Just waiting.
excited or scared?
Just waiting.
They're like, say the word boss.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm posing the question to you guys.
They're not ready.
Well, they're not.
So it's a bad time to take a bite of pizza.
I think Balrin shrugs in response to Ezra's question or statement. He says, "They might not be ready, but they're farther along than you might think. They might not be ready, but others are."
This issue's only going to get worse if we don't deal with it now. So
I wonder if war might be premature. Perhaps subterfuge at this moment is...
it could still be war.
I think it doesn't matter what we call it. They're a threat to us and ours, and are going to impede our personal quests that we have. It needs to be dealt with.
I mean, Ezra's right. I think we don't just outright march at them right this second, but
Oh no, definitely not.
we start the
Just take that
preparation.
portal in what was that one portal that went straight into like
March our,
Halaster and
our
like the
20
throne
people
room?
through.
Yeah, that's the what is it, the gear portal? Maybe is that right? Gears.
That's the one that's north of the
South of the
memory room
Yeah.
with
Let's
the
just
ice.
go attach the
and ice.
nuke and push it through the portal.
Yeah, I remember because I was the one that walked through it. That was
Yeah.
terrifying. That walked
Okay.
right into
Idea
the
of like
crown
20
chamber.
plus like triggers going off.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
No,
then we go to war.
I think at this point we need to establish contact between the Legion and the boys. At the very least, so that shit, I don't remember which one's the cleric that's learning message, but
Dolt.
Salt, that she has a contact to at least say shit's hitting the fan. We need reinforcements or whatever the case may be.
Do you think this might be worth elevating to our benefactors on the surface?
They don't care.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Yadro does not give a flying fuck. This would be a waste of time to her, so...
Oh, for
A
sure.
a drow assassin tries to get her on a bad day. I feel sorry for that drow assassin. That's all I gotta say. They're
I
gonna
feel like
kill
they're
the man.
likely to tell us to not waste our time.
So basically, yeah, all of our benefactors except maybe mine.
Reminder to all of you about the like temperament of your benefactors. Every single one of your benefactors, except for Vajra, was pretty supportive of you doing what you needed to do and taking your time and being prepared and correct in your actions.
It was implied, Jeremy.
Only Vajra was
wasn't
the one that was
implied.
like, "Get your shit taken care of." God
I was
damn
gonna say,
it!
my people have been awesome.
Right,
So-
like,
Okay, cool. Well, all right then. We go to war.
The only groups I worry about are the goblins, the Legion, and for some odd chance, if the drow really want to take it that far, the tavern.
Hmm.
We're gonna go back to the tavern, and our beds are going to be cut.
Maybe.
But
All right, then.
that seems out of character for them. At least what we know of them today.
So I know what I need to do. And I think it's going to start, if we're all in agreement to this, it's going to start with we're going back up towards the surface. After, I need to talk with Salt for a little bit.
Okay. I mean, if we need to head back
Not
up,
like a long trip, maybe like
Yeah,
a day
it
or
can take
two.
a couple days.
Yeah.
do we have anything like we were
I just got
waiting
some
on
stuff
the
to
surface? God, I hate
I don't think I think the magic shop may have rolled over, but I'm not super concerned about that.
I don't think we're there yet.
we didn't
Not
have
quite.
I didn't have any potions brewing from Fala.
I don't
No.
think I have any.
I
action items.
think we're pretty much caught up on all of our surface stuff for the most part.
Yeah, it was just personal activities. Matashtai learning persuasion, Ashes
Mhm.
trying to find a time to start up potion or ranking up in potioning.
Yeah.
Ezrah doing researches, etc., etc.
Right.
Okay, then. Then I make the grand declaration.
And the city is under the grips of the dead of winter. Sorry.
Yeah.
The heck?
I make the grand declaration. Prepare for war.
I'll turn around, throw a fist up. War!
Oh,
Prepare!
Every eye glued on Bones. Total silence in the entirety of the nave of the Heart of Mountain. Bones turns, breathes deeply. Prepare for war. There's fucking crickets.
Well, shit.
Snot is the first goblin to speak up, and she says, "What the fuck does that mean?"
But
And then
yo,
there's
oh,
immediately the silence is gone, and there's a bunch of goblins like turning to each other and be like, "Maybe he means this." I mean, like, do we need to do this? Like, or should we start like and two people like go over and start like stripping the bodies of the drow for like weapons
Aw.
and like putting
is
on
it good
drow
for?
boots and drow helmets and things
Nothing.
like that. Like, we're going to war, and there's a lot of confusion and weirdness,
We're
and
not
you
going
realize, yeah, definitely not the just march them off to war kind of
they're not
style.
marching it- okay. Y'all not
Yeah,
you're not going anywhere. Just
But they
expect more of
don't
what
understand that.
I know, I'm letting them know y'all not going anywhere. Just expect drow and stuff to try and kill people, and then I'm
Uh-oh.
gonna go and kill them.
Oh, so we're just business as usual?
Well, I mean mostly, but
Yeah.
like, you know,
business as usual.
There's a
but,
little
like,
bit of like grumble through the ranks there, like
I mean,
a
some
general
of you can
feel of
maybe
like,
come to war. We'll see. Well, I mean,
maybe
it might be
heighten
fine.
security a little bit.
There's-
Expect more attacks like this.
there's an air of like, look, if there's gonna be a war, we want to be a part of it. If there's gonna be a war, this is bullshit. You can't just put the Skull Takers in a corner.
No one.
nobody puts skull takers in a corner. All right. Well, we'll find a place for you in the war.
That was so non-committal, but those are the exact words that the Skull Takers want to hear from their chief, the head Skull Taker, Bones. That actually gets that very non-committal, very kind of nonchalant statement. That is what gets the roar that ripples through the crowd to rise up from the Skull Takers. Or it's the fact that they've been drinking mushroom brandy for the past 30 minutes and they're kind of just finally losing their shit. And lose their shit indeed. We will see what happens as they lose their shit, or what happens with the rest of the party as we come back from break here in just a few minutes. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.